Now, earlier today, footy returned to Norwood. We were both there. It was absolutely stunning out there. Yet again, it was Brisbane, who started really slowly. This is a side last year that won 23 of 27 first quarters, but in the second halves, the first halves this year, they've been really poor out of the blocks and then flew home, and they did it again today.
Well, it was the third game in their last 4 where they've been more than 5 goals down in that first half. They fell 39 points down. It looked like this game was well and truly done just before half time, but they managed to work their way back into it. And they were 5 goals up late in the game. I mean, the Dogs kicked the last couple just to get some respectability back to that scoreboard, but their scoring power is unbelievable. When they put it together for a full 4-quarter performance, Chris Fagan spoke last week, they beat Richmond. It's probably their best 4-quarter performance of the season, but said they still weren't overly satisfied. They've been playing 2 quarters, they've been playing 3 quarters. They're 4-0 to start the year, 5-0 to start the year. When they put it together across a 4-quarter performance, I think they're the premiership favourites at the moment, and that's why, because they're doing it in spurts and they're still unbeaten to start the season.
How about Eric Hipwood? This guy went to the rooms at halftime. He had 1 disposal to his name, and in the second half, he kicked 5 straight. He was the difference in the end. It was a performance that you had to see to believe.
Yeah, that goal there that he intercepted, then gets back onto it and runs into an open goal, that sort of set the story for his entire night, because he wasn't getting his hands on the footy. He intercepted, he did the grunt work, and he managed to finish off and kick the goal. That was a great mark. He took an exceptional mark over Rory Lobb, who had the matchup on Eric Hipwood. 5 goals, 10 score involvements in a half of footy, which is incredible. You said it at the game, Josh. It's a microcosm of his career in a sense. He went missing in the first half. You couldn't see him for a long time, a long spell of that, and then comes and ends up being the match winner for the Lions. 5 goals in the second half alone. They had a number of contributors across the board, Brisbane, and he's emblematic of that scoring power. Logan Morris was fantastic as well for them, and did some hard yards in the first half when their backs were to the wall. So, but it was great to see Eric Hipwood back at his best, and without Joe Danaher in that forward line this year, they're going to need that a lot more often.
Now, this game was nearly over before half-time when Sam Darcy had a shot. He looked like he kicked a goal. They'd kicked 7 goals at that point. They're almost 40 points up. They went back to the middle, and it was overturned on review. It proved to be the big moment.
This was a 12-point swing because it was right before half-time. I was actually right on the paint of the 50 on that side of the ground.
It was touched.
It was touched. You can't really see it well, but you can see it from this angle better. That's where you can see the fingers bend back. You got very close to the man on the mark. I remember thinking at the time, geez, he's close to him. I didn't think it was touched at the time, but clearly on replay, you can see there. It goes from being a potential 38-point lead at half-time, comes all the way back to 33 points. And it gave Brisbane some impetus. They would have been out of that game if not for that moment, I think, because their backs were to the wall, their heads were down, and it was just another goal. They kicked 7 goals to 1 in that second quarter. The Doggies would have been 8 goals to 1. I think it would have been really hard for Brisbane to peg back, but just gave them some momentum going into half-time. I think everyone was relieved. Everyone took a sigh of relief, they exhaled, and then came out in the second half, and we know what they did. They managed to turn it around. But another one goes begging for the Dogs. I mean, they let Collingwood off the hook a couple of weeks ago. They let Brisbane off the hook here. They're 2-3 with bodies still to come back, but that's a really disappointing way for them to lose that game, given they went to 39 points up. And they do this too often, I think, the Dogs. They let other teams come back into the game too often, and they'll be feeling very sorry for themselves tonight.